Hi, my name is Bree and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if you haven't gone and checked out my last video, I suggest that you do. I kind of explained why I've been kind of absent on YouTube for the last couple months, I guess. And I also talked about some conferences I presented at. So if you want to go check that out, I suggest you do. The link will be down below in the description, or you can just go and look on my channel and just click the last video, I guess. But in this video, I want to talk about some of the books that I read, especially in the month of April. March I didn't do too much reading, and actually April I didn't do that much either because I've just been so busy. So I'm only going to be talking about the books that I haven't read from class, from my school readings. I'm only going to be talking about my personal readings. And yeah, I guess that's it for the intro. I will talk about my books now. Wow, it's been such a long time since I filmed a video, so I'm a little bit rusty. Please let me just have a couple videos to jump back into it. So the first book of the April that I finished was called The Witch of Duva by Lais or Dugalo. So I wanted to read this book. Well, not even a book. It was a short story, and I read this because I want to dip my toes into the Christopher series. Why not start with like a short story to kind of get like used to the world? But then I was reading some reviews where like it relates to the short story, but it doesn't have the same kind of vibe. So I'm a little disappointed to hear that because I really enjoyed this short story. But anyways, I gave this short story a 4 out of 5-star rating on Goodreads. Oh, man, it was so creepy and like I just loved it. I read it in one night, and I also read it in the middle of the night too, which also might have not helped since it was creepy. But like lately, I've been feeling like that, like foresty, woodsy vibe. So it was like, I love it. And it also reminded me sort of a little bit of Hansel and Gretel, which I've also read this semester in class. So it was like, oh yeah, I see the connections there. So basically, the wife dies, husband remarried, there's an evil stepmother, 2 children leave, a witch, and they encounter a witch in the woods. So that's why I connected the two to Hansel and Gretel. I thought that was really interesting. I liked that concept. It was a nice little twist on a known fairy tale. So a lot of people talk about the twist at the end, and let me tell you, I was not expecting that twist at all. I was just like, oh my god. It shocked me so much, and I'm a little disappointed at the twist because I had it set in my mind that it was going to end a certain way, and then it didn't, and then the twist happened, and I was like, okay, that's where we wanted to go. A little disappointed by that. That's why I brought down the star rating a little bit, but other than that, like, I loved it so much, and it makes me want to read Shadow and Bone next. But yeah, I heard the vibes aren't the same, so we'll see if I like Shadow and Bone. Hopefully I do. I'm actually reading Bardugo's new book, The Familiar Now. I'm literally 4 chapters in. I started it last night, and it's okay so far. Kind of gives me a little bit of a vibe from the Ninth House, I think it's called. Yeah, the Ninth House. And I didn't really like that book too much, so I'm hoping it does get a little better, and it's a little boring so far, so I am hoping that it picked up soon. So we'll see. The next book that I ended up reading was Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, and I gave this a 4 out of 5-star rating on Goodreads. So this is just like a collection of Norse mythology, like retellings that Gaiman wanted to explore. He kind of gave his own twist on some of them too. I'll be completely honest, I know nothing about mythology, especially Norse mythology, so even just reading about these, I was like, oh, that's cool. And all my knowledge actually came from Marvel, Marvel Thor, and like that Thor. So it was kind of fun to compare like what Marvel did with the characters and what Neil Gaiman did. And now it makes me want to read more about Norse mythology. So I feel like this was a nice little introduction to get into Norse mythology. I highly recommend checking it out because I I actually do not like Thor. I don't like Thor. I like Marvel Thor, yes, but I don't like this Thor. think he's kind of cocky and arrogant. I actually like Luki a lot more, so we'll see. So that's fun. So yeah, I recommend checking this out. Even if you know nothing about Norse mythology like me, it makes me want to read more about it, so I'm going to be checking out some more Norse mythology like stories, hopefully over the summer. So the next one I read is actually a book 2 from book 1. So it's called Sunbringer by Hannah Tanner, and it's actually in the series for God Killer, the second book that follows. I don't know how I feel about it. I gave it a 3.5 star rating out of 5, and I rounded up to 4 on Goodreads because I didn't know how to rate this book. Like, I really enjoyed how each character, we kind of got to see what they were up to, and they were kind of like separate, like Kaisen, whatever her name is. I pronounce it Kaisen. I don't know if that's correct at all. But she was off on her own, and then Elo was off on his own, and then Inara was on her own, and then we got some point of view from Shakiri, I can't say these names. Why do you gotta make them so hard? And another little god, he had his own little point of view, which we kind of got in book 1, so that was also nice. And we actually got a new point of view from Aaron, the king, so that was really nice. And even just kind of like seeing the story in his perspective and like what happened to him was like, it was really good, really good. But like, I don't know, I kind of wish that they were more together like they were in the first book. In this book, they were just really separate, and then I feel like maybe the last like 85% of the book is when they all come together. We got to learn more about Inara and her god. Like, we got to learn more about this connection. So that was a nice little wrap up. I really enjoyed that, and I also enjoyed Elo, which was trying to get revenge on Aaron and try to kill him for what he did in book 1 to him. So that was also pretty cool. Last couple chapters were a little confusing to me, and I was just like, what is this? And then even the epilogue was like, whoa. And then someone from book 1 who was, I'm not going to say it because it's a spoiler. But yeah, there's a big twist in the book, and I was just like, I was like, oh my god, I'm like, what? So that was really interesting to see. And to see how these two characters also interacted, I was just like, whoa, back up. So, yeah, I rated it like a little bit lower than God Killer. God Killer, I rated 4 stars. This one, 3.5, because I wish they were more together, more throughout the story rather than on their own separate ways. I'm hoping in book 3 it does not follow the same structure and we go back to how we were in book 1 with everyone together. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm actually very excited for book 3. I hope it comes out soon and we don't have to wait too long. I don't even know. I hope it comes out by like next year, the very latest. I don't know. I need book 3 like now. And then the last book I read was The Lais of Marie de France by Marie de France. And these were like these little like lais or poems in the book. So they weren't that long. Maybe like, I think the longest was maybe like 9 to 10 pages or something like that. So really short. And this is actually a really classic book, you want to say, set in medieval times, like medieval literature. And these little lais, they talk about like these little stories that the author like retells. They're like oral traditions, and she kind of puts them down on page to write about them. So they were really interesting. It was all about like courtly love and like courtly romances and like the knights and the kings and all that. I think I read 2 of these in my British literature class last spring. So I was like, you know what? Like, I want to go back and read them. And also, too, this one girl at a conference that I went to, she did a presentation on it, and she did a literary queer theory reading of a couple of the stories in here, so I was like, I need to check that out. And I totally see the series that she was talking about, so I was like, ah, love queer theory. But yeah, I gotta say my absolute favorite way of this is Bishkovich. Again with these names. So basically, he ends up transforming himself into a werewolf like a couple times for like 3 days out of the month, I think it was. And the wife doesn't know, and he goes off into the woods for like the 3 days while he transforms, and he survives off of like animals, like his hunting. And so she eventually finds out. She freaked out because her husband is a werewolf, for crying out loud, and kept it from her. And she ends up betraying him by taking his clothes. Oh, I should say this too. Like uh, whenever he transforms, he gets naked, so he hides his clothes, and the clothes are also some kind of like magical power that helps him come out of being a werewolf. So she ends up taking the clothes from him. He can't transfer back into a human, and she ends up marrying another guy. And the king ends up finding Bishkovich in the woods, brings him home to be his pet wolf. They find out what happened. Voila. The woman gets her nose cut off and cursed for the rest of time, her family. So, yeah, it was a really fun read. I had a lot of fun reading the medieval courtly like romances. I've kind of been into that lately, so it's like it was fun to read like the OG, I feel like. But yeah, like overall I gave this a 4 out of 5 star reading, and maybe I'm gonna write up a like analysis paper about it. Who knows? Anyway, that's just me being a scholar and cannot stop thinking about literary theory and criticism thanks to school. So that's literally all I read in April for my personal reads. So nice short video to kind of get back into the swing of things. Hopefully for May I will read a little more, but I'm also going to talk about in another video about what else I read outside, like in March. So that video is going to come soon. Hopefully next week or the week after, something like that. Anyway, if you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up. Comment down below if you read any of these books and let me know your thoughts on them. I would love to know. And while you're at it, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to ring that bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. You'll get notified. I need to get back into this. I know the outro is not that good. Bear with me. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I will see you guys next week. Bye.